Part of this is, in Islam, we are taught that if you have more than one child, give them equal attention. In the sense that, do you know that Allah's given us all different complexions, different sizes, different intellects, different abilities, different challenges. All our children are not the same. We cannot hold those against the child, because that's from Allah. But we do find Muslim parents not giving attention to a certain child because of the looks of the child or the results of the child at school or this or that, and favoring the other one, whereas that is a major sin. It is haram. It is something that is serious. You are not allowed to do that. So many children who are suffering today are children who say, my brother is favored over me. I'm the black sheep. I'm sure you've heard that. Some of us as adults might have felt that, you know what, I'm the black sheep in my home. My father, may Allah forgive us as parents, and may He forgive our parents if they've done that. Never. You need to give more importance to those who have perhaps, challenges, greater challenges, in a way that we would be balanced. May Allah grant us this. The reason I paused is because the Prophet ﷺ, once a person was giving something to one of his children, and the Prophet ﷺ asked him, have you given this to all your children? And he said no. So the Prophet ﷺ corrected him and told him, you either give it to all of them or you don't give it. One of the two. We need to make sure that we learn from this. These might seem like simple words. If I were to sophisticate them and put it into a big research, people would look into them much more seriously. But the hadith is always simple. The Quran is always simple. It comes up with the rules that govern my entire life in a very simple way, in the form of a story. Like I said, Luqman alayhi salam, Nuh alayhi salatu was salam. There are so many other examples in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks of how there will come a day when the children and the parents will be separated. They won't be able to help you. And Allah speaks so many times in the Quran to say your wealth and your children, they are a test upon you. They cannot come on the day of Qiyamah to help you unless you have utilized them in the correct way. Your wealth as well as your children, you've brought them up in the correct way. Let's get to the next A. The second A is acceptance. So we spoke about attention, now we speak about acceptance. Also connected, but we need to understand the child, show an interest in the life of the child, show the child that you are a part of us, you're a part of me, we are one, and so on. There is an acceptance of the child and what the child stands for or what the child does, because as the child grows, the child will do things based on what we have done, what we have chosen, what we have said, and so on, if we have played the correct role in the life of that child. And we need to show acceptance to that particular child. The third A is approval. Approval and acceptance are quite close. How they have differed here is to show it verbally as well. To praise your child. To value your child. Make sure that the praise comes from you. If the praise doesn't come from you, some parents, I know the older generations, some of you might have seen it and some of us might be like that. May Allah protect us and help us to change. They never praise their children. Never ever. The child can be top. Dad is just looking down. Sometimes they'll just tell you, you could do better. Come on, man. Say something. I got 99.99. They say, yeah, I got 100%. You could do better. But how? You could have written a neater. They'll bring something. So in that way we are not acknowledging. Even the Prophet ﷺ says, when someone does good to you, return the goodness with goodness. If you cannot, the minimum is to say Jazakallahu khairan. Why? What is that? May Allah recompense you. Imagine your child has worked so hard. It's a different example altogether, but to acknowledge plays a big role in the nurturing of the child. I tell my son, mashallah, kids are quite bright these days. And I tell him, I don't expect you to come first in the class. I expect you to try your best. Nobody asks us here, were you first in your class? How many of you have been asked in your field in the last few months, as a big businessman or a top person in your own company, were you first in class when you were in primary school? Let's be honest. The reason I'm asking you this is to show you the importance of it. So many top surgeons were not first in class. They were not. But today they are top surgeons. I know of children. Personally, I know of examples where the child was not so intelligent in the early days.